Welcome to the Motivated Martial Arts Podcast. Your hosts, Jackson White and Gavin Cook, have been friends and Tae Kwon Do training partners for over 40 years. This podcast will bring you a mixture of their life stories, martial arts, and business experiences to motivate you in life and throughout your martial arts journey. Adding in a mixture of inspiring interviews and some of the best traditional martial artists around today. So over to your hosts, the Motivated Martial Artists.
Welcome to the Motivated Martial Artists Podcast with me, Gavin Cook.
And me, Jackson White.
And today we've got Mike Lambert on the show today. So we're all stuck at home on lockdown from this blasted coronavirus, but on the positive side, it gives us plenty of time to interview these awesome people on the podcast. So Mike Lambert is a former T.A.G.B international fighter who made the transition from fighter and club owner and coach over to the movies, and is now like a fight coordinator in the movies. So we're really excited to learn a little bit more about that. But I'll just introduce you, pass you over to Jackie. Okay, so hello, Mike. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you, guys, and thanks so much for having me. Chili, cookie.
Oh, good man. Yeah, you never forget the basics.
I still remember it.
Hey, Mike, it's great to have you on the show, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're busy, but during the lockdown, it's a great opportunity to get people on. So we're going to kick off with our first question, and it normally falls to me to ask this of all of our guests. So really, what we want is you to explain to the audience a little bit about your background, your childhood, growing up, and how you really got into martial arts.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Again, thanks for having me, guys. It's just a privilege and honor to be here. So thank you for that. Basically, I started. Before Tae Kwon Do, my sister was a massive Bruce Lee fan. She used to have all these kung fu posters on the wall and everything. Bruce Lee with the iconic 3 slices, 3 gash marks on his cheek and his chest from Enter the Dragon. And from an early age, I was exposed to this. I was like, I wouldn't mind doing some of that. And I think I must have done the usual 9 or 10 years old. Everybody does Shotokan or whatever at the local club for about 2 weeks and decided it's too hard for them. And then I think about 12 years old, I started doing Wing Chun at Sheffield, which is a Chinese, for anybody who doesn't know, it's a Chinese like kung fu martial art. I think originally southern China, so it's very much like low kicks and a blocking system, kind of like a softer martial art. And I started doing that for a few months till the instructor left. I think he did one and went to Spain. And then I saw, I think it was in Fighters magazine, an interview about Tae Kwon Do with some Korean master. I forgot his name at the time. And I was like, oh, this looks good because of all the fancy kicks and everything. And I started doing Tae Kwon Do back in, I think, May 1985 with Mr. Bob Angus in Rotherham. Yeah, so that's how I got started into it, yeah. What
attracted you to the Tae Kwon Do? You mentioned the kicks. How did you find that when you first got there? Did it take you time to progress into your kicking techniques, or were you a natural?
No, I wouldn't say I'm a natural. I mean, I was at school, I was pretty much not good at anything academically or sports-wise. So I surprised myself that I actually wanted to get into some kind of physical activity because I wasn't a sporty, athletic person. And I found it very hard. I found the flexibility quite good. I mean, I was not naturally flexible, but after a few months I could get into the splits. But then again, I was only like 13, 14. So maybe, that was any 13, 14, or maybe.
No, I could never get into the splits, mate. Even when I was 12.
Okay. And there's an operation you can have actually. Apparently, it's very good where they just cut the hams anyway.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and it's funny because my instructor, he was great. Mr. Bob Angus was brilliant, really traditional. But like I said, that form of, I just listened to an interview we did with Grandmaster Dave Oliver earlier and on YouTube, and when he was saying about obviously a lot of clubs nowadays, if they trained back then like they did now, you'd have probably 90% of your students will leave. I mean, I remember
you'll have 5 people in the class. You'll have about 5 people in the class, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Exactly. And it was just like, I mean, our first session, I think it was like you do 15, 20 minutes star jumping, and then you'd be sprinting on the spot, knees up, and then jumping up, tucking your knees, and then you do, and I'm not even joking, you probably do 20 minutes just horse stance, just punching. And I'm not even joking. Like some people exaggerate. It's like the older you get, the better you were. It was literally like that. And it was completely foundation, technique, and really basic stuff. But it was great. And I think a lot of people expect they want to go to, nowadays, you want to go to first lesson and learn like a a jump 360 back spinning kick or reverse turn kick, or however you want to call it nowadays. And back then he was like, from the basics, you had to learn good front kicks first, 1,000 kicks each leg, you know, that kind of things. But for me, you've got to have that foundation, because it's like, I think, without getting too philosophical and spiritual about it, it's like, I think Bruce Lee once said, fear a man who was was like 10,000 techniques, but fear a man who practices one technique 10,000 times, sort of thing. So I think it comes down to that, you know. But all Bob's students, although competitive wise in sparring, none of them were, because they didn't really do sparring that much, really. But technique wise for patterns and kata, they were exceptional. They were brilliant, because, like I said, they all had this strong foundation and base.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I was saying on an earlier podcast that I remember when I first did my lesson with Jackson White Senior, who you know very well, Mike. You know, yes. I think he got us to do low section block and reverse punch for an hour. That was it. Yeah, that was all we did.
Exactly.
It was low section block, reverse punch for an hour. And now these days, when as a kid, when you walk in the dojan, you expect, like you say, you want to be. By the time you've walked out, you want to have at least tried a couple of flying kicks and
exactly.
You know, it's a totally different new world, isn't it, that we live in now?
I mean, to be honest, I can't lie. I was a bit disappointed. I was expected to go in there and come out after a week and learn all these flying kicks and things. Like, you know, I saw, you know, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan doing all these amazing techniques, and thought, yeah, I want to do this. And then I realised, actually, this is really difficult. But you know what? I fell in love with it, and I'd be out. I remember we had like a JVC video. I was fortunate enough to have like a JVC video style, some kind of recorder with no monitor, if I remember rightly. I used to take it out in the garden, and thinking back now, this is like what a lot of athletes do nowadays. You video progression and like analyze the techniques. And I used to put it on a rock and then go and kick. I'd like hang a tennis ball. This is when I was like 14, 15. I'd hang a tennis ball on string on the washing line and kick clothes pegs off and things like that. I'd go out bare feet in the snow and just constantly practice, come back, plug it into the video recorder, hook it up to TV, watch it, and that goes, no, that was shit, and then go back out and do it again, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So how old were you when you got your first black belt?
First black belt, I think I was 17. I think I got my first down with Master Hill Chow.
Okay.
I got it with Master Chow, who was, bloody hell, he was an amazing inspiration to me. He was great. It was like a breath of fresh air. It was fantastic.
Yeah, them jumping back kicks on the heavy bag of his. You won't want to get caught with one of them, would you?
Oh, I remember literally when I think Black Belt Team Championships 85. I went to Leamington Spa, and he blindfolded. We're throwing up 1-inch like boards,
pine boards,
kick, pine boards, and also he got about 8 guys to hold, I think, 6 or 8 inch of piranha pine, blindfolded, jump back kick, touched it once, jump back kick, and his key out was amazing. And he just like, I was like blown away. I was like, he's a man. And for me, sorry, I'm going off on one there now. Gavin, sorry. For me, Master Chow was, the reason why I say it's such a breath of fresh air, that back then, a lot of the Korean masters were like pristine. They'd come up with like their office sort of haircuts and clean shaven, white suits and, you know, bow, and they'd be like, you know, traditional. He'd come in, and the first seminar I did with him, he was like, hey, forget Taekwondo hands, bullshit, boxing. You got to box. And his first combo he taught was, I think, jab, cross hook, spinning back kick. And he'd come in and he'd have like a red top on, tucked in, which you never have coloured tops on. He'd never tuck it in. He'd have his sleeves rolled up, which he never did. He had a goatee, stubble, and his hair in a ponytail and blue pants. And I was like, that denim pants that made that real like whoosh, cowboy whip when he kicked. And I was like, this guy's amazing. And he was. I mean, even to this day, I mean, I got all these books like Complete Martial Artist, Man of Contrast and things. And the guy was amazing. I mean, technically, fantastic. I think I got some of his self-defense video as well. We had some like flares getting beat up by a guy in an alleyway, or great.
Yeah, Jackie's got a few. He hasn't quite got as much love for Master Chow as you have, because he failed him on his second dan. Isn't that right, Jackie?
Oh yeah, I heard that earlier. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, thanks for leading Gavin into that, Mike. You gave him the door wide open there, and like Gavin, he never fails to step into it. Not a problem. But at least I didn't fail my black tag, Gavin.
Oh yeah, this is true. Yeah. Hey, listen, I think every just going on to that, joking aside, I think every decent martial artist has to go through that failure at some point. I think, and that's what a lot of the martial arts these days don't allow for, isn't it? Everybody seems to pass nearly everything, and it's quite frustrating at times, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, well, I just sorry, I just heard Grandma Stoliver saying that about when they took gradings back in the day. I mean, what was he saying? Was it Ricky Howe when he used to take them? And some people just fail like that. They just, if you're not good enough, don't make the grade, and that's it. You go home, and that's it.
No explanation,
So,
and it's pretty brutal. So I think you know, leading on from what Gavin said, then I think now martial arts is more of a stage failure, because you can fail and people do fail, but it's managing the failure in line with what society is like today, which is obviously, you know, it's changed from back when Tae Kwon Do back in the 70s, or even any martial art back in the 70s. So you spoke about doing your patterns and your horse stance. So what got you into your sparring? Because you said your club wasn't a great sparring club. So how did you start getting into the competition side?
It wasn't, well, no, like I said, no disrespect to Bob Angus, but because himself, he wasn't, it's like that sort of thing. If, you know, if your dad's, I don't know, he's into whatever hobby and he tries to push you into it, because Bob wasn't particularly into competing, he didn't push his students to do that. It's not like, you know, look at some of the best clubs at that time, you know, like Dave Oliver's club and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And, you know, Paul Donnelly's, you know, all them guys were competing all the time because that's what they live for. And because Bob didn't, he didn't push us down that avenue. And I think I still wanted to compete. And I think I was competing in the junior division one day. And I'm going to talk about a lot of people later. If you don't ask me, I want to give shout outs to like people like Dave Oliver, Kenny Walton, Kim Stone, Tony Sewell. I've done Master Cho. Because I was at this tournament one day, my mum used to take me to all the tournaments, and she was like, as a sort of hobby, because I don't think you can say housewife nowadays, can you? Homemaker?
Stay-at-home mum.
Right, well, anyway, stay-at-home mum, right? So it was like a new hobby to take me, her son, like some kind of genetically engineered freak, and like, oh, he's good at Taekwondo, and try to like push me in that respect. And basically, I was at one tournament one day, and I'd been to see, like I said earlier, the Black Belt Team Championships, limited to Spine 85 or something. And I expected like to see this, because I grew up watching martial arts films, like this almost choreographed fighting style. And a lot of the guys coming out and they were swinging and they were like punching, and it was like a bar fight. Until obviously the more experienced guys come out, like I remember your dad was fighting there, and Kenny Walton, Nigel Banks, Ron Serger, them kind of people. And they were like the real like talented acts. The thing is, for me, it was like it was like an eye opener, thinking, oh my god, these I was used to seeing like these slick displays of martial arts, and it was completely different. But it did fuel me and thinking, I want to get into this. I want to do this. Could be something I might be good at. I'm not saying I would be good at it, but I might be if I worked hard enough. So I used to go home and train, like I said, and put my headphones on and listen to some inspiring music. And then one tournament I was in, when a junior tournament, and like I said, I didn't do good at all in the junior division. I did very, very bad. And I'd rocked up, and I think back then it was the weight divisions, but I think once you're over 16 back then, I think you're men's division.
That's right.
I used to rock up. Yeah, I used to rock up 14, 15, and all these kids from, no respect, I'm from quite kind of a real white area where I'm from, right? And then all these Asian kids that were like 6'2" with moustaches.
We know a few of them. We had a few of them in our club.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god! And literally, I got 7 bells of SHIT knocked out of me. And I was like, in fact, I remember one time my dad went, "You're getting changed. You're going home, get changed a lot." He goes, "You're not fighting these." And he marched me to the change rooms, and he got me changed. I said, "I want to fight," but I get nailed. I was trying to hit these guys with jumps. I was trying to do technical jump flying sidekicks to these guys in the ring. And they were just moving away, and then like,
whack,
I was like, oh, this ain't working. Yeah. And then, unbeknownst, this big black dude comes to my mum, and he's chatting away to her, and I'm thinking, is this guy moving into my mum? And I saw his back, and it was one of my heroes. Listen, it was one of my heroes. It was Tony Sewell. And for this moment in time, I was only, like I said, 15, but I'd already got heroes in the T.A.G.B. People like Kenny Walton, Kim Stones. I was mad. I was getting all the magazines, reading about them. I was getting American magazines. I was just digesting everything I could about martial arts and Taekwondo, mentally and physically. And it was Tony Sewell talking to my mum. And I'm like, oh my God, my mum didn't know who he is from Adam. She just saw this nice guy who's chatting to me. And basically said, oh, why didn't your son come down to my club on a Sunday? And she's like, oh, do you fancy that? I'm like, oh yeah, Mr. Sewell. I'm like starstruck in awe. And it was an informal club on Sunday. I think it was some Afro-Caribbean centre in Derby, which was a big eye-opener for me, because I rocked up there, and it was like that scene in Rocky 2 when he's getting the eye of the tiger back and he's in that club in Detroit.
When he walks to the gym.
He's the only white guy in there, and all the brothers stop. And if there was a record player, and I think apart from one mixed race kid, I was the only white kid there, and it was informal, just tracksuits only. Go out, we do a run, come back, like barefoot run for 2 miles, come back, do a circuit. And again, I proceeded to get 7 bells kicked out of me for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. But it was great training. I mean, and I was so happy. I mean, Tony may have seen, I think he might have seen something in me. But I tell you what, going there taught me how to fight. And it taught me that, you know, it doesn't matter about people's looks or whatever. If you can fight, you can fight. Once you get fit and you get that ring experience, something. And that's what really got my sort of ring savvy up. And then I think probably about late 15, early 16 years old, Kenny Wharton, Kim Stones kind of took me under the wing because they were doing my gradings and I was still training Bob Angers. And Bob used to come in sometimes and say, oh, I've just been to Thorn, which is about 50 minutes from my house near Doncaster, to train with Kenny and Kim. And they just picked one. And usually they were just Kenny Wharton, Kim Stones, Shabir Actor.
I suppose Graham Churchill would have been around those times.
Yeah. Graham was there. Yeah, there was literally 3-4 people max. That was it. Again, informal. And Kenny said to me, "Do you want to come through and start doing this?" So I went through, and I think I became the first. Can you remember the YTS schemes? I think I became the first YTS assistant martial arts instructor in the UK. Kenny took me under his wing, thankfully. So every morning, 9:30. I'd rock up in Thorn, I'd jump on the bus, Kim Stones pick me up at Doncaster train station, we'd drive through, and usually there was just me, Kenny and Kim, 3-mile run, that was like I said, I was 16, 3-mile run, come back, do a circuit, the old squad circuit up to 25 with burpees, press up right knee, left knee, revert to during exercise, V6, up to 25, back down, pad work and sparring, now and after 2 hours, every morning, with Kenny Wharton and Kim Stones, so I'm not being funny.
Yeah, 2 of the fittest blokes. Yeah, exactly.
And the best fighters in Europe and the world, and I'm there basically getting free tuition off them, and it was just, I was like, this is amazing. And then they started saying to me, do you want to come squad train Saturday? So I was training basically Monday to Friday with them, an hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning. I'd go home, I'd do an hour weights in the afternoon, then I'd help Kenny teach 4:30 till 6:30 at night, then I'd train 6:30 till 9 at night. I tell people this, I would train like 3 to 5 hours a day. And people are like, yeah, whatever. And it's true, back then it was like that. And then Saturday was squad training at Hinckley. And then we'd compete on Sundays if there were any tournaments. So yeah, it was pretty full on.
There were good times.
I'm waffling on too much, Anna, sorry.
No, that's good. There were good times, weren't there? Like Hinckley, the Hinckley Sports Centre. I know me and Jackie used to go sometimes on the bus or on the train to get there. I mean, I used to get out of bed early. I used to go around Jackie's house. Quite often we used to watch a bit of daytime telly and then go, didn't we? No.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, I'd get, seriously, sat in the canteen before the squad started, having a coffee somewhere, I'd be nervous as hell. I'd feel sick because I knew how hard it was going to be. I mean, especially when Dave used to pull people into centre. And I think we'd run around the hall, then we'd do sprints. And I think we'd go up to, I think they went up to 30.
Up to 30, yeah, it was up to 30, yeah. Someone in the middle, and next person in, and then back down, wasn't it?
Yeah. Up in 5, increments of 5. So it was like burpees, push up right knee, left knee, V6, and maybe, burpee with the knee tuck as well.
Yeah, or squat thrust.
And squat thrust, yeah. And it was hard. And then we'd do, I think, an hour of sparring and pad work as well. I mean, it was brutal, but I mean, it was like the fittest I've ever been. But funny, going back, just a quick one, I just remember going back to the junior squad where I said I used to get beat up by some kids in junior squad. One day I rocked up and a couple of the guys were there at squad training. And it was quite funny because the roles got reversed then. So it was, I hate to do it. I hate to say this, but it was actually quite nice, actually, suddenly going and knocking people about a bit that used to knock me about. So it was kind of
I know that feeling.
Yeah, not in a bad way, but I was suddenly like, oh, I've grown up a bit now.
I've got some skills now.
A little bit better, yeah. You know, my skills have been taken to another level. So it was quite nice, actually, having a bit of
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I've got a similar story, Mike. When I left the forces, I got back into Tae Kwon Do, and the first thing I did, I said, right, I want to get back and start sparring. So I started going to Pat Carter. Do you know Pat Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah, started going to his school, and he had a lot of young junior fighters that were you know, they'd won a lot of the world championships at 16, moved into the men's division, and were doing really well. You know, on the verge of being in the team. And they just used me as a punch bag. I was heavy, I was flat-footed, and for the first 8 months, maybe 12 months, they just battered me around. They used to take it in turns. And then I continued. A lot of them went off to uni, and when they came back halfway through uni, I was lean. I got my timing back. I got my fitness. Well, my fitness was always there, but I got the timing back and the flexibility. Then I just took my revenge and battered each one of them one at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
not any malice, just a little bit of gratification.
No, but it's nice for yourself, isn't it? A little bit of, you know, it's that pride thing as well. But you know what? That's probably why we do it. I mean, if we didn't have that sort of that little, I don't know, trait inside us, probably
you'd have just accepted it, wouldn't you?
Well, exactly. You probably wanted. You've got to have that competitive spark or something. You know what I mean? Which, no, it's nice to have stories like that. You know, it's good to tell your grandkids when you get older, when we can't do it no more.
So tell us about you getting first time you were selected for the team. What was the first trip that you went on?
Okay, right. So after this, so firstly, another, like I said, as well as Kenny Walton, Kim Stone's been major inspiration for me, and Tony Sewell. Dave Oliver was another one. But I've got to say this, and I don't think he'd mind me saying it, I hated Dave Oliver back in the day. Not now, I love him. And for me, he is, if I had to put in like, I don't know, on my gravestone or something, if I could put in like 10 things that's influenced me throughout my life and career, Dave Oliver would be one of them. He's definitely helped me become the man I am today, along with Kenny and Kim, for without a doubt for that. And but I did hate him back in the day, because I used to go to squad training, and he'd literally be like, "Why are they for you here? You're useless. Why are you coming here?" I mean, I was like 15, 16-year-old kid, and I remember one day he held up this magazine cover of Kenny Walton on it, and said, "Oh look, you're instructed on this magazine cover. You might be there one day, but don't hold your effing breath, because it's never gonna happen." So I'm like, "Oh, I used to hate him," but I'd go home. And I trained so hard. I trained harder than ever. I'd just go out in the back, like I said, in the snow, and go running and do the, you know, watch a Rocky film, then have five.
Find some logs to chop.
Exactly. You know, all that sort of stuff. Seriously.
Well, Gavin even once tried to buy a chicken so we could chase a chicken round.
that was after having 10 raw eggs for my breakfast.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. No, exactly. No, we've all done it, and then it wears off. Novelty wears off after about a week. But no, Dave Oliver, I was, I think I got selected for the junior squad when I was like 16. We went, there was me, there was the senior squad, of course, but obviously the junior squad, I forgot who was on at the time. I remember James Grogan was on the same squad as me, though. And he's still a good mate of mine, James. And we went to Holland, and I got this kid, I forgot his name, something like Chipilati or whatever his name was. I know that's not his real name. It's the only one I could think of. And he was like a WTF champion or something. And I've never fought any WTF fighters. And he did batter me, you know. So I'd gone out to represent England, first time ever. I'm like, oh, great. I've made it onto the England squad. And I lost. So I'm not, I don't think people who've not competed can ever tell you that feeling. It's like going out with the prettiest girl in the world ever, and then she suddenly dumps you. That heartache is times, I don't know about you guys, Gavin.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
But the feeling of loss, especially when you've let you, because I'd like to consider myself a team player. I'd like to think that anybody that I talk to in T.A.G.B, I'd like to say, Mike Lambert, he was a team player. Hopefully, he'd say that, because I was. And I felt like I'd let the team down. I'd let Kenny down. I'd let Kim down. I'd let my parents. I'd let everyone down. I was devastated. I was so devastated. And I'm like this. And next morning, I remember I got up and they're all in the lobby, all the T.A.G.B team, all the suitcases. Thinking back, it's actually really funny. But back at the time, when I'm a 16-year-old kid, it wasn't funny at all. And I'm devastated, man. I'm like, seriously, I'm so upset.
I suppose no one ribbed you for it either, did they?
Well, not yet.
No, you're lucky. You're lucky then.
No. This is it. This is coming. And I hope to God that Dave Oliver doesn't mind me telling this story, because it's a great story. It does come out nice. It's like a happy ending. And I hated Dave Oliver. I just didn't like the man at all. And he saw I was upset. So I'm sat there like in the lobby waiting for the coach to take us to the airport. And he's like, every suitcase around. And he went, Mike Lambert, come here. Grabbed me in front of everybody, put his arm around me. He says, like, listen, come on, chin up, son. And I'm thinking inside, he's actually not a bad guy. He's caring about me. Yeah, exactly, yeah. And he goes, you know what? He goes, don't worry about it. You've got to take each loss as it comes, and it makes you a strong individual. And have you enjoyed coming away with the T.A.G.B? Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Oliver, sir. He turned me around like this, and he goes, God, that's good. And your trip's all been paid for, because obviously T.A.G.B funded everything for me. You know, I didn't have to pay anything. Pay for your flight and your hotel. Yes, thank you, Mr. Oliver. You might have to bleep this next bit out. I don't know, Jacko. Yeah, you might have to. And he went, and Gavin, he went, and you've enjoyed experiencing different things and you've never experienced before and everything, and all paid for by the T.A.G.B. And I'm like thinking, oh, he's forgiven me. Yes, thank you, Mr. Oliver. And coming away and representing your country in Taekwondo, which is a dream come true. Yes, sir, thank you, Mr. Oliver. I'm thinking, oh, I feel better now. And he went, good, because it's never happening again. You fought like a spastic. And he punched me. He punched me in the chest, full on, sent me flying back over the bags. I flat back, seriously. And I burst in tears. He went, right, now get your bag, get on that effing bus, we're going home. And I'm not lying, right? I was devastated. I'm just literally blubbering. He's punched me. And I was like, it couldn't get any worse. And I got home and I went, you know what? I'm going to show this man. Every Saturday I went back squad training. He's like, why are you here again? Why are you again, Mike? You're just pathetic. You just lose. You're never going to get anywhere. And I think Super Sport, remember the Super Tag, the Super Sport?
Yeah.
They had a tournament and I just turned, I think, was it 7? Oh, wait a minute. No, I think the junior thing. Yeah, I think the junior thing I was 16. I might be getting wrong with my ages, but I don't know when I went in the adults. Was the adults over 16? It was, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. 16 and
right.
Yeah.
So it was. I was 17 then. I was 17 and I went to my first black belt championships as an adult. This was my first black belt championship. It was the Super Sport Nationals, right? And I went in and I managed to, Lady Luck was on my side. I've been training hard, like I said, using that fuel, using that hatred for Dave Oliver's fuel. I just went and trained hard. And I managed to beat everybody in that division, luckily. And I beat everybody. And who was giving the trophies at the end of the day? Mr. Dave Oliver. And I'm thinking, you know what? If I get away with it for manslaughter, I'm going to try to stick the trophy probably in his face when he gives it, right? I'm literally fuming. I'm thinking, I hate this man. And winner, I think middleweight, adult division black belts, Mike Lambert. I went up, thanks, sir. And he put his hand on my shoulder. He went, see, Mikey? He said, I knew you could do it. I knew you had it in you. And then suddenly the penny dropped. I was like, oh my, I've got goosebumps telling you. I'm like, oh my God. So all this time, he was just, loads of people can do this, loads of people can do this, but here, not loads of people go here.
That's right.
I've seen so many people come and go that've got all the weapons, all the technical ability, but they've not got it here. So he was priming me, as well as being physically fit, he wanted me to be mentally fit. And the penny dropped through it. And from that day onwards, he's been an inspiration to me. And that was it. We're just like, I've got nothing but good words to say about the man.
It's a common theme, you know.
Star maker. He was the star maker. That's what
he is. Yeah, he knows how to motivate people. You know.
Yeah.
As well as being a great martial artist, he's actually a great person, manager.
Yeah.
He knows how to get the best out of people. He knows when he needs to, whip somebody hard. He knows when he needs to put the arm around the shoulder. You know, he without a doubt, in terms of coaching, is the Alex Ferguson of Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Listen. Could I coach somebody that way, Jacko? I don't know. And Gavin, I don't know if I could. And behind closed doors, it might go on, but can you get away with that sort of coaching and attitude and talking to people nowadays? I don't know. Maybe behind closed doors when nobody sees, but out in the public eye, I think nowadays people would probably report you and
Oh yeah, sure. No.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think these days, obviously, you have to handle people with kid gloves quite often, far too often, really, quite often, don't you? And it's no wonder from hearing your story why the T.A.G.B squad was so legendary back in the day, because they all had that same mindset that you're talking about.
Well, either two things are going to happen, Gavin. Either that happens to me and I go, you know what? I've seen people. I'm not naming any names, but I've seen people
they've just picked up and walked off.
He's done that to people, and they were like world quality fight. I've seen them, and they've gone. I'm not having this, and they've just left. They've quit the squad, and I've seen it. I mean, like I said, I'm not naming and shaming. It's not really shame, but I've seen people just get up and leave. And I thought two things happen. Either I go, you know what, I'm going to quit this. I don't need this, or I'm going to train harder than ever and show that man. And that's what I did. I just went, you know what, I'm going to prove to you I can do this. And you know, I was bullied as a kid at school, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going into my adult life with somebody giving this in with the sport I enjoy, and it just showed me that he was doing that to toughen me, and from that day onwards, I've had nothing but we've had some great times together. Dave,
well, the respect is mutual, because only the other day he posted on Facebook a bit of a bio about you in your fighting days, and now he raves on as you as one of the best middleweight fighters in the T.A.G.B ever.
Yeah, you know what? Thanks for that. But you know what, Jacko? I know, and I'm not just getting this to get a pat on the back from people. I don't think I was. I think I was fit. I was fit. I was very, very fit. But I was inconsistent. I could have done way better than I did. I wasn't, you know, I wouldn't put myself up there with people like Kenny and Kim and stuff like that. No, I was okay. I was a decent fighter. And I'd sometimes, I mean, I've had some like war, like Mark Weir. I've got a lot of respect for Mark Weir. I think I fought Mark Weir like 7 times, and he beat me 4, I beat him 3. And I had some wars with him. And you know what? I've gone out there and lost against Muppets, though, you know, like purely because
you just
I wasn't in it. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And it is all about that. Just, you know, so I am disappointed sometimes with some of my performance, but when I was good, I was good. When I was bad, I was really bad. You know
the thing is, though, Mike, you were around at a time when there was so many really, really good fighters within that T.A.G.B squad.
In every division, division.
3 or 4 in each division.
Yeah, easy. So to get picked to squad, I remember you'd go to squad, and if you didn't make the cut, you're not going on. If you weren't competing a lot and putting the hours in at squad and training hard, mate, you ain't going anywhere. You know what I mean? It's like them squad sessions, you know, a hint for everything. And I think, where did we do them afterwards?
Loughborough, was it?
Was it Loughborough? I think. Oh, we did them at Hinkley, but then did we sometimes do them downstairs? I remember upstairs because it was in that like green room with the
we used to go downstairs, and sometimes we'd be upstairs in the archery room.
Yeah, that was the worst floor ever, wasn't it? You used to come out with your toes and your feet and your knees, and everything was ripped to shreds from that floor.
Yeah. But it was, like I said, it was great. I mean, back then, you know, I was sparring with people like Banksy there. Banksy was your dad, Jackson White, were there. There was James Grogan, Stuart Ray, Tony Sewell, Mark Weir,
Elvis Parsley.
Elvis was there.
Dorian Brighton. You know, the whole host of names.
Ralph Minot. There was some great guys there, and it was just Roger Lawrence, and it was just like, you know, it was a war. It was great.
No easy spars. You couldn't go round to someone and say, I'm going to have an easy fight now. Everything you're fighting as if you're in a competition, because everybody's fighting so hard for those places.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you've probably seen that video. What's the video? I keep seeing it surface quite a bit on Facebook. The one where they're training for the 88 World Championships, and you just see him in the middle, like Kenny's just like a wind-up machine. He's just like.
They all are, aren't they? Legs, one leg down, next leg up, hands.
Yeah.
Okay, so from your fighting career, what led you into what drove you to get into the movie world, and how did that transition take place?
Well, to be honest, I've always been into films, action films, martial art films, everything since I was a kid, like I explained earlier. But and I was about 20 years old, and I was talking to the editor of Combat back then, Bay Logan, who was an editor back then. He said to me, "So why do you?" And I've always, you know what? I remember being at school and saying I want to be a stuntman. I got this local book from the library, and growing up watching like the Fall Guy on TV and the famous movie Burt Reynolds Hooper about a stuntman. I was like, I'd love to get into this. And I got this book from the local library explaining stunts. And I think one of our career advisors at comprehensive school or something was saying, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a doctor, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a stuntman. Yeah, okay, get serious and think about something else. So it kind of went to the back of my mind for years, because nobody actually telling me, how do you get into stunts and become a stunt performer? And then Bay Logan went, why don't you get into doing action films and stunts and everything? I was like, that was like a sort of like childhood dream years ago. He says, well, there's 3 places really you can go in the world to do it. I mean, he didn't say England at that moment. He went, there's India, which do all the Bollywood films. And I thought, I don't fancy that much. Not a race thing, just like, you know, it's a bit out of my comfort zone. There's America, which is a lot harder because obviously, you know, Hollywood and the green card and all that. And then there's Hong Kong, which at the time was British colony. I was like, fancy a bit of Hong Kong. So I was coming up 21 years old. I had a diamond, no, I was 21 actually. I had a diamond ring my granddad left me. went and pawned it in, got a couple of grand, jumped on a plane, went to Hong Kong, and just got involved in the movie industry in Hong Kong. I just started doing like some low budget chocky movies, playing like the bad Western guy, you know what I mean, playing the villain. Yeah, just going to that. And then obviously, because I was out in Hong Kong 6-7 years, and I was doing stunts and fight scenes out there, and a friend of mine, Ray Nick, who's a stuntman from Liverpool in England, he was saying, when you go back to England, we've got a thing called the British Stunt Register. So if you want to continue it. So then I thought I was going to come back and just, they're going to open the doors and go straight into it. But no, you still had to train up and get all these qualifications. Like you've got to get these different, I think it's about 18 disciplines, you've got to have about 6 in them. And I just have to train up for a few years, still doing films in the meantime. Yeah, and then obviously I've been doing it ever since now. So I've been doing stunts, movies now for 27 years. Yeah.
Okay. Mike, so what were some of the skill sets that you had to learn in addition to your martial arts then to get into it?
I was just about to ask the same question.
Oh yeah, I think, have you got wrote down? But have you gone down? Are you at the same desk? Are you sat
no. All right. I know horse riding's one of them, isn't it? I know horse riding was one of them.
It is. There's a few different ones. The actual set ones on the register are, there's a multitude of them. It could be martial arts, which could be anything as long as it's, I think they've got to be registered like with the Martial Arts Commission or something. You know, you can't just have like a, you know, go to a McDojo and go, I've done martial arts for 6 months, I've got my third down. There's anything like, there's fencing, there's horse riding, there's gymnastics, trampolining. Yeah, there's a wide multitude of things, and you've got to pick 6 which you feel are more sort of like suitable for your background. Like I said, I'm not going to pick horse riding because obviously that's not my thing, but so I did like martial arts, I did a bit of gymnastics, that kind of thing, bit of trampolining. But a lot of people think that just because they're a good martial artist, I have so many people contact me or email me and go, oh, I'm a martial artist, yeah, I want to do a bit of stunts and I think I'll be good at it. Like, no, it's not about that. It's just because somebody's good at martial arts, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a good stunt performer. So yeah, there's 101 things can make somebody a good performer, from looking good, being dynamic, good energy, selling hits, and maybe having, not a screw loose, but maybe having some kind of trait which gives you that you want to do something.
A little bit, push the boundaries.
Yeah. I mean, even yeah, exactly. Even, you know, I've been there, Jack. I've been ready to do a stunt, like, you know, you're on a wire, or you're gonna expose man, you go jump off something and land on a crash mat like 20 feet below you, and they go, okay, camera's rolling, and we're gonna go 3, 2, 1, action. Obviously, I go in action, and it goes to 3, and I want to go stop, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird feeling, but you just go and just do it. And so it's like,
throw yourself over the edge and get on with it.
Exactly. But you know what? For me, it's, if I hadn't done Taekwondo, and I'm not just bigging up the T.A.G.B, if I hadn't gone through the things like with Mr. Oliver, like with the T.A.G.B, some of these extreme circumstances, situations, I probably wouldn't be able to do that. It's given me that confidence that I can go out and perform in front of a crowd of people. If I fall over and slip or something, I've done that. You know, I've run out in a crowd full of people and gone to throw a flying cycle and slipped and told my backside. And it's like, you know what I mean? You get used to yeah, exactly. You get used to doing that. You know, I've won a patterns tournament at Canadian Open, and then because they want you to show your pattern at the end of the day, because you were the champion, you're the grand champion, you've won it, and I forgot my pattern halfway through and ended up facing the wrong way. And I've gone, oh, that was a disaster. You know what I mean? And I've just won it. I've just got the gold medal for best pattern. But, yeah, you know what? You've got to have that certain trait. I'm not saying, yeah, you might have to be a little bit crazy. Maybe you've got to have that sort of like switch in there that you can turn on and off. I think, yeah, to an extent.
I think sometimes it's also about not having that fear of looking silly. I think sometimes you know some people are so, you know, they're so scared to make a little mistake in their life. They're so scared to do something wrong. They think someone's going to laugh at them. You know what I mean? But sometimes you just got to put yourself out there and just give it a go. I mean, when we started this podcast, we had that same sort of fear. It was like, well, and what happens if no one likes us? And what happens if
the answer was, Jackie, the technical master is going to cut it out and reword it for you.
we did have that.
You've come a long way, baby.
But it's true though. But you have to still have that same fear, and I think it still stems down to the fact that we're martial artists, you know, through and through, and we're used to failure, and we're used to putting ourselves out there, and we're used to, you know, failing and then getting stronger, and then analysing your performance and looking what you can do better.
I don't even call it failure. I call it a lesson. It's a lesson, and if you can analyze why you weren't successful, not saying failure, because failure is a negative word, but if you can analyze why you're not successful, go back, retrain, re-prepare, and go again. That's a lesson. It's not failure, is it? We're just sometimes in our country we're a little bit negative sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes I do like that English mentality sometimes because and I'm not knocking Americans because I work a lot with Americans. I mean, sometimes we'll do a stunt on set, do a little thing and like whoa, whoa, and a high fiving and chest bounce and stuff like that. A bit too much, but I like the happy medium. Maybe the Canadian way. It's like not quite American, not quite English in the middle.
In the middle, yeah.
Yeah, I think I forgot the saying. I should have a book of quotes here so I could look more intelligent or something. But I think one famous inventor said something like, "There's no such thing as failure. There's just 1,000 ways of not getting it right or something." Or
exactly. Thomas Edison, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Edison about the light bulb or something.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Have you got a book of quotes there? No.
Yeah, no, I've got them. Yeah, you know what? We've used them so many times. It's just in our head now.
yeah, exactly.
So. Talk us about some of the films that you've done then, Mike. What's been tell us probably one of the most high profile films that you've been in or worked on.
Oh bloody hell, that's like, because I've been doing it so long, that's like asking me what my top 10 favourite records of all time is.
Give us your top 10 then. Give us your top 10 movies that you're in.
Yeah.
I've done quite a lot. Casino Royale, Gladiator, Batman Begins, X-Men, Last Stand. I've just done the new Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, John Carter, Mars, Clash of Titans, Harry Potter films. I've done quite a few.
Pretty much everything, yeah.
I've done quite a few.
Okay, I'll tell you what then, Mike. What was your biggest? Wow, I can't believe I'm like say for instance like someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You met someone like him or somebody like that. When was that moment of like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually working on the same movie as this guy? What was that aha moment where you thought I'm living the dream here?
To be honest, and again, I don't know if it's because of the T.A.G.B giving me that sort of like grounding. I've never been sort of starstruck per se, but because I did the last Star Wars film, and it's the first Star Wars film I've done, but Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. There was one day you stood on set, and suddenly there's like, you look and there's Chewbacca next to you over there, and then there's R2-D2 and C-3PO, seriously in costume. And then I go, wow, I saw this at the cinema in like 1977. And now I'm on a movie set, you know what I'm saying? On a Star Wars movie set. And I was luckily enough to be the fight coordinator. I worked for my boss. She's the stunt coordinator, Eunice Woodhart, who was from Liverpool Freestyle back in the day. She's my boss, and she has been for many films now. She's great. And I'm thinking, I'm designing the lightsaber fights for this Star Wars movie, and that's pretty.
Yeah, I can't bet. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, and what would you say would be one of your most, back when you were being the stuntman rather than the coordinator? What would you say your one of your most challenging coordinations has been?
I mean, to be honest, Jackson, I think all of them are quite challenging because people have different degrees of what's classed as. We don't like to call them dangerous doing stuff. We like to call them like maybe, I don't know, some are more complicated than others.
Mm-hmm.
But even the small stunts can be dangerous because then you get complacent. You think, oh, it's okay. I'm only jumping across this gap. I can easily make that jump. It's only 3 foot. If I fall, okay, it's 50 foot, but I can make that jump. But if you're jumping like 30 feet and you're on a wire, then you check your wires okay, and you check the guy on the end of the wires okay, and you check your harness okay, that kind of thing. So you've got to have like sort of like a strict sort of like safety procedure, but you should have it for everything. But if you're talking about what's like my most memorable or sort of like favourite stunt I've seen, I did a film with Jet Li, which was cool, called Unleashed, Danny the Dog, and with Bob Hoskins. And a lot of times stunt guys, they just obviously, they'll have a guy come out, an actor.
They just beat up Bruce Lee, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or you'll get an actor come out, blah, 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 say his dialogue, turn, and then suddenly the stunt guy will get smashed through a window, and they'll be back to the actor again. So a lot of time with Unsung Heroes, but in that one I was cast, so I had this pretty nice fight scene with Jet Li at the end, which was cool. So that was nice for me because at last you get to sort of like get a little bit more pat on the back, and you get acknowledged for a little bit more. You know what I mean? So that was like a nice memorable moment. That was one of my sort of like last performing sort of jobs before I got into more coordinating stuff as well, which was good.
Was there ever a point, Mike, where you actually fancied having to go at proper acting? Was you sort of was there ever a moment you thought, you know, I want to be with these guys doing the proper big scenes, not just getting my ass kicked in the background sometimes, or getting thrown off bridges and stuff like that?
Yeah. To an extent, and then I realised I wasn't good looking enough and I couldn't act. Yeah, there were two things holding me back. I didn't have the looks, I didn't have the acting ability. But other than that, yes. No, I mean, I've done a couple of bits and bobs. No, to be honest, no, I'll leave that to the other guys. You know, that's their thing. It's like, for me, I started to be a stunt performer, and that's what I did. I never it's like, okay, what I hate now, because I'm a fight coordinator now, I hate these people that, like I said, email me something and just say, oh, I've been doing martial arts now for 2 years. Can I be a fight coordinator in movies? I'm like, well, not really, no, because you've not come up with... I compare a lot of things to Taekwondo martial arts. I'll go, it's like the yellow belt. Your teacher class, Gavin, suddenly one of yellow belts goes, all right, geez, all right, step back, mate, I've got this, and steps front. You wouldn't have it. You'd be like, what?
Yeah, you know, you're going to teach reverse punch. Well, you might do that well, but
exactly.
But it's going to be limited.
Yeah, exactly. So what the thing is for me, you've got to come up through ranks. You've got to pay your dues. You've got to earn respect. So for me doing this position now, a few years ago, I'd be a little bit embarrassed to go, oh yeah, I'm sort of like a fight coordinator, movies, everything. But I'm like, well, wait a minute, I've earned this title over years. It's not just I've not just been given this title. It's took a lot of people just go, oh yeah, I can choreograph, I can put a fight scene together. Yes, you might be able to, but do you get that opportunity? Should you get that chance? Be given that chance to do that on the film yet? When you've done nothing, your resume, you've done nothing. You've not done martial arts on it. So for me,
you've got to build your experience, and not just in actual coordinating the fight. It's about the logistics around the movie scene. Of
course, it is
the language, the network, the whole piece. Yeah, exactly. You can't expect just to be parachuted in.
Yeah, it's like you with your military background. You're not going to get somebody come straight in and go, oh, I want to be like top dog and sergeant major first day. You've got to come up through the rank. You've got to be.
You get a few of them. They don't last long. Well, they normally don't make it through week 2 of basic training.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you not find though that, Mike, that these days a lot of the youngsters, and again, it's all about, you know, instant gratification. They're coming, like you said, they've done martial arts for 6 months, and they think that I'm good enough to do that. But you're an old school martial artist, so you're going to look at it and go, well, actually, you know what? You've gone nowhere near enough yet. But in their minds, because of the way society is now, that they feel as though I've done a little bit of hard work. I expect that opportunity. It's actually, you know what? You're nowhere near, mate. You know.
No, exactly. One of my team members. I don't know if you've heard of Ashley Beck, Brian Beck's son. Brian Beck runs basically Wacko, and Ashley Beck is his son. He's like world musical forms champion, Wacko champion, like 3 times or something. The kid's amazing. He's been on like about 8 or 9 films with me now. He's like one of my best friends, and the kid, as well as a great attitude, technically. He's amazing kicking. I mean, acrobatically, he's one of kind of like the first pioneers in musical forms. Back just after Dodger, was it Dodger DeVille?
Yeah, from the US.
Yeah, right. Back after that, then Ashley came, and I mean, this kid, he can pull kicks off that I've not even got names for. I mean, look at some of the Korean kids now, what they're pulling off. You know what I mean? And these like Red Bull kick competitions. But attitude wise, Ashley's got it great. He's got the skills to pay the bills. He's a 10 out of 10 with skills, but he's only a 3 out of 10 with attitude. He's like humble. A lot of these other cats, like these, I'd say, well, a lot of these trickers, they come in, they can throw the things, because what's happening nowadays, they ain't got the foundation. They go to these like open events at like parkour or gymnastics centre. Now, gymnastics centre years ago were just close to gymnastics. That was it. But now a lot of them have opened that, so you get breakers down there, breakdancers, free runners, parkour, trickers. They've got foam pits, they've got tumble rooms. They can practice, and because you've got a young fit kid, they can practice all these moves, and eventually perform. But they've got no base, so they throw these moves, and then they're all like, hey, and oh, and filming each other, and then all bigging each other up. And like you said, like Gavin said on social media, they've got this blasé attitude that the shit don't stink, and the best thing's in sliced bread. And I'm like, well, not really. You throw basics like it, and the foot's like, oh, bleh, and they've not got that like, pah! You know, they've not got this snap and this energy and this the brickwork, the foundation that other people have. And these people, like I said, Ashley Beck's got the attitude of 3. He's very humble, 2 or 3, but his skills are like an 11 out of 10. These cats are reversed. These guys are like 11 out of 10 attitude, 2 out of 10 skills, and I get
Skills,
loads of them from the castings. Yeah, and these. So
well,
I'm not saying
you know what? You see a lot of that, Mike, in MMA, where you get guys that want to come in, they want to fight. They go and hit a bag with a turning kick. You know, you get them against anyone that can actually throw a proper kick.
Yeah,
you wipe them out quite easily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
master. What was it? Jack of all trades, but really master of nothing.
Yeah,
very,
I mean, I've had it in my local booze. I've got it in my local booze, and just like there's a guy next to me, like roided up tight t-shirt on. It's something like Mad Dog MMA gym or something. And I'm like, oh, and I'll play a bit dumb. I'll be like, oh, that's cool, mate. Is that what you do? He goes, yeah, it's MMA, isn't it? Mixed martial arts, ultimate martial art, and everything. I'm like, oh, how long have you been doing that? He's like, oh, about 8 months. I'm like, and straight away, it's just, I don't know. Although I like mixed martial arts and I respect a lot of them, it's breeding a lot of the wrong people. And it's just giving these sort of like, not everybody, but it's giving a lot of thugs just more ammunition to go out on a Friday and Saturday night and
get someone in an arm bar or try and choke them out outside the back of the pub.
Exactly. So I don't know. There's a lot of it. Not like I said, I'm not knocking any stuff.
No, I think there's a great place for it, and you can see it in the UFC and in K1, and in the Bellator, and it's they're proper athletes. They've got a good grounding in lots of martial arts, not just go into a gym, pay their 20 quid a month, and learn a few techniques.
Exactly. I mean, look at people look at Michael Page. I mean, he's
great example.
The kid's good. You know what I mean? And some of these guys is like, yeah, legit and real deal, but some of them just go there and they just get a t-shirt and they're like, you know what I mean, like crazy pitbull MMA gym. I'm like, oh, whatever. It's like, you know what I mean?
Mike, we're coming towards the end, mate. We're going to have to wrap up in a minute.
Yes, sir.
And I always get the privilege of asking this question. Given where you are now in life and the journeys that you've been on, what piece of advice would you give to a younger self?
To a younger self, a younger me?
A younger you, yeah. If you could go back 20 years, probably a bit more than that.
I would have said... my back and my knees saying don't do stunts. No, I'm joking. I would, you know what? I'd probably do it all again the same. After, like I said, and I'm not bigging my friend up Ashley Beck again, but I would have probably, although I can do a little bit weapons, I can do double swords and some stuff. I would have definitely done I would have done more weapons stuff as well as my taekwondo. I would have got into more weapons, like, some Filipino Kali stuff and that kind of thing. And I probably would have done more gymnastics, acrobatics, tumbling, give my like aerial ability. Yeah. Although I can do basic stuff, I can do like, well, not now, but my 49-year-old body won't allow it. But I could do like basic.
I know what you mean. I went to a trampoline, one of those trampoline places the other week.
Yeah.
I wish I videoed it. Wish we videoed it.
Yeah.
The next day, mate, I had pains in muscles I didn't even know I had again.
Hey, I told you earlier, I'm doing this with the online yoga class at the moment, and if I'd have videoed myself earlier, that would have gone viral on YouTube. But me trying to do this like headstand and then falling over, like, oh my god! But anyway, it's good. It's good. I'm just trying to keep. How are you guys keeping it with this coronavirus? With the
it's all a bit weird, isn't it? I mean, we're doing
online classes.
Yeah, doing my virtual classes now. Yeah, we're doing for bit.
Nice.
It's interesting because just having this conversation is that I'm actually really enjoying doing the virtual classes, and my club are really engaged in it, and it makes you think. I wonder what it's going to be like when we go back to whatever the new normal is going to be. I strongly believe now that the virtual classes are going to play a big part in people's life in all sorts of disciplines, because people are going to get so used to doing it, aren't we? So.
Or maybe that particular individual. I'm not saying this, but some people might be intimidated to actually go into a club and train alongside people.
I think it opens the doors up to more people, like you say, because
exactly.
that nervousness.
Exactly.
Quite interesting, and funny you should lead us on to that, because we are put a bit of a plug in for our next project. So we're just about to launch a online streaming service for martial artists. So where students can basically, instructors can log on, they can do their live classes, it automatically records it, puts it in the back library, and you can get your students subscribing onto it, specifically for martial arts across the whole range. I think it'd be a nice. We're calling it the Netflix of martial arts, basically.
No, well, if anybody wants to see like Chon Ji done at full speed, then I'm your man.
Awesome. Well, hey, don't Mark. We'll hold you to that, Mike.
So yeah, to be honest, Mike, we could maybe look at putting a trick in or even a stunt section on there. To be honest, because again, there's a lot of people with a wealth of knowledge who wanna showcase their stuff, don't they? Showcase their knowledge.
Yeah. No, for definite.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up there, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
I'd just like to say though, thank you, Gavin, and thank you, Jackson. And like I said, big up to T.A.G.B, Dave Oliver, Kenny Walton, Kim Stones, Master Ilcho, Tony Sewell, Bob Angus. I mean, these people, inspiration to me, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without them. So thank you very much.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your listening platform. It would be awesome if you could also leave us a review. We really appreciate your valued feedback.
Also, check out our website, themotivatedmartialartist.com. We also have a YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook page and Facebook group. All the links are available on the show notes below.
We'd like to thank again our show sponsors, skillsconnect.co.uk, the world's leading children's development programme for martial arts. If you're a martial arts school owner or instructor and are looking for some inspiration, ideas or drills for your children's classes, make sure you check the skills out.